yourself and tell us what we're up to.
Awesome, I'm Farmer C, or Ciara is the actual name, and we are here at the Tot Lot, which is a sensory space. So it's meant to be a sensory garden, especially for the younger kids, but really for all ages. And so if you turn this way, you can see a lot growing, which is really exciting because what you might also notice is that it's very shady. So there's not much sun early in the morning, which is when we would like the sun to be here. Yet it does get a few hours, so things are still popping up, which is exciting. So we'll walk along this path. Right now there's not much growing on the sides. To my right there's some lettuce though, so very, very baby lettuce that cannot be harvested. Over here, if you take a whiff, it's nice sweet mint. And then some emptier beds over here that I don't really know why they're over there. So that's happening. But then a few more herbs right here. This space, this big box bed, this is for me one of the most special components of the garden. This year it's not at exactly where I want it to be, but it's still exciting. So each triangle in here has a special theme, I guess. And so this first one right here are all edible flowers. So that usually is exciting for kids and adults. So you don't want to eat the leaves, but the flowers themselves, you could have kids taste the petals. This orange one right over here, the yellowish orange, that is calendula. So calendula has a bunch of health benefits. I'm trying to find the sign here that says a little more about it, but I can't. But that's a quick Google search.
I found the calendula sign.
Cool, yeah. So calendula is good in teas. It has health benefits of some sort, but what's most exciting is you could literally take a petal off and eat it.
Amazing.
Not so much flavor, but still exciting. And then these blue ones right here, this is called borage, and you could similarly snap off the flowers. Let's find one down here. There we go. And I'm gonna get rid of the spiky parts, and I'm gonna have you taste this. And this one has a sweeter taste to it.
It is sweet.
So if you want to scare your kids and eat a flower, this is a perfect opportunity. So that was calendula, the yellowish orange. Blue is borage. And then there was nasturtium in here as well. These are all nasturtium, but the flowers themselves looking dead right now. Oh, here's a beautiful one, orange right down here. That's a nasturtium flower. Very peppery, so that one's spicy. The little ones might not like it, although it could shock them and that could be fun. But a little bit peppery. Cool. So that's our edible flower bed. Over here, it's a strawberry patch. One day it might be a pie bed, so all types of berries that could go into pies. But for now, we just transplanted a bunch of strawberries. You can't really see any here, although, let's see. No, just very, very leggy. But at some point, earlier on in the season, you could find some strawberries, and that's a fun little scavenger hunt for the kids.
So early on in the season, mean the beginning of summertime?
Yeah, beginning of summer. They're one of the first crops that comes up. So not right now. This here is our pizza triangle, which means we are growing tomatoes and basil, both of which are delicious on pizza. So when you're in this area, you could see that it's very leafy. There aren't so many fruits, and that's because there isn't much sun here. So this area, this whole farm or garden, can't really be a production focused space, but it can still be an educational focused space. You could still see the tomatoes growing. A fun activity I have for little ones is just counting the tomatoes. So you get everyone to count together. How many can you find? Things like that. It's just easy ways of engaging kids in the space. The basil is growing underneath, and that's a really fun sensory one to smell. So you could smell it, you could see if it smells like pizza without telling them that it's pizza. Like, what food do you eat on a regular basis that
smells like this?
And that could be a lot of fun. Cool. On this side of things, you see corn coming up.
What?
So kids might recognize that as it gets a little bit bigger. Corn as well as squash, and then beans are hiding somewhere. But those are the three sisters. That's considered the three sisters. That's about it in the space. Not much to harvest, but oh, here's a nice. That corn is coming up. So yeah,
wow.
You could search for that.
It is really going down. But you're not going to harvest that much out of here because,
We're
again,
not.
there's not that much sun.
It's really at this point just to like,
Catch as catch can, see what came up.
touch it, smell it, things like that. We're not going to really be able to harvest. We did harvest a bunch of lettuce from here at one point, and then we let the lettuce continue to grow. So what you see here is actually a very end of season lettuce crop that's bolting. So bolting means that it's producing flowers for the next season. So nature does that for us. The only reason I'm keeping it in is because it shows that there is green here, and I don't yet have a crop to put in here. But also we have a potential to actually run a workshop with some of the older kids on seed saving. So we'll save some of these seeds that are coming up. For now, it's perfectly edible. So this, you could pull off a leaf or two to have kids taste. It might be a little more bitter because when it starts to produce seed for the next season, already lettuce is bitter, and then when it starts to produce seed for the next season, all of its nutrients and energy are going towards that instead of to the flavor of the leaves. But still a worthwhile thing. It's perfectly edible. Over there, there's Swiss chard growing, and these are considered our
Over
salad
here?
beds. Over there, that's Swiss chard with the yellow stalks. Similarly, you can taste it. It is not going to seed yet, so Swiss chard is generally a little bitter too, but also delicious. So you can rip it up. And it looks like we have.
What's over here?
Those are beans.
Beans.
And that's another good scavenger hunt one.
Beans. They're good for your heart.
Let's see. Beans, beans, good for your heart, right? You can get everyone to sing that. And then let's see. They're at the end of there. Oh, but here you can see some.
Wow. Nice.
Awesome. And then this bed, this is really fun. This is our sweet or like sugar bed because everything growing in here is sweet in some way. So, for instance, we have sweet basil.
Sweet basil.
We have sweet
My next
mint.
dog, I'm going to name it Sweet Basil. That's a great name.
Sweet mint. This here is a weed.
Weed.
I'm gonna take that out.
How can you tell the difference?
It just looked different than everything else in that bed. It smells like everything around it, but if you look at the leaf closely,
It looks different.
there's nothing like that. So
When one of these
I
kids
don't
is
believe
not like
it.
the others, that's when you know
when you-
it's a weed.
it's a weed. But everything else, I'm gonna make. Have you tasted this one, stevia, before?
No, what is stevia?
Okay, so this is the one that you have to get all of your kids to taste. I'm gonna give you a small piece because adults don't always love it.
It's interesting. It's sweet and good for you
Yeah,
at the same time. How can you do that?
exactly. So stevia, it's like the syrup, not syrup, the sugar, the
Mhm.
alternative sugar thing. This is the plant.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
Yeah, so kids love the sugar
It's
plant.
from a plant?
Yeah, crazy.
I thought it was
And-
all chemical.
Not all chemical. And so another cool activity that you could potentially do as like a group is harvest some of these leaves in a jar, get some hot water, boil the hot water, fill it up, and the next day you're gonna have stevia syrup. And
Wow.
you could make tea or make something food-wise with the kids that they'd enjoy eating straight from the garden. And kids could also very easily harvest this. You could see there's a lot of leaves.
Yeah.
We practice the pinch and pull method. So you find a leaf that you want to harvest, and you literally pinch and pull it off. That way they're not grabbing the entire
pulling the whole thing, yeah.
So you practice the pinch and the pull, and then everyone gets the one or the two leaves that
That's beautiful. Pinch
are
and
designated.
pull.
Pinch and pull. Cool. So that's stevia. And then we exit the big bed. Oh, something else that I really like about this big giant bed is that kids especially, they can really be like inside the crops. They're like
Yep.
in those beds. It feels like a farm a little for them. We see the city around us and we see the rest of the pack. But when they're in there, they're walking on soil. And rarely in the city do you get to walk on soil. So just exploring the spaces, not stepping on the plants themselves, on the beds, but going into the path. If ever you see these tiny things growing, these tiny greens, that's weed. Those are weeds, and you could start picking them out. That's like a task we do all the time. They just grow back.